Hi, it's Joy, and for the last time, today I'm going to be watching The Clone Wars, Season 7, Episode 12, Victory and Death. We're here. I actually can't believe it. When I put The Clone Wars on a poll, I knew it was 7 seasons long. I didn't really think about how much time that would take, and it's been like a year and 2 months since I started watching The Clone Wars, and I have loved it. I have loved the good arcs, I've loved the bad arcs, I've loved how much more attached it has helped make me to this series, its world, its characters. It's continued the job The Mandalorian already started for me. And yeah, we're at the most devastating part of the whole franchise. I mean, it's one of the most, if not the most, wide-scale devastating. You know, it's the Infinity War-esque element where the good guys lose. And, you know, we have to pluck some strands of hope from it. The few survivors. So, given how the last episode ended and how intense it was, I feel like all Ahsoka's going to do from here is figure out just how much she's lost. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody who has joined me on this journey. I have felt such support and love from anyone that has watched my Clone Wars reactions, and it's been a lot of fun to watch along. I'm going to be jumping into Rebels and Bad Batch and all of the live action shows. I'm not done with Star Wars, but yes, the end of the Clone Wars. Actually really glad I know it's not the last time I'm going to see Ahsoka. I mean, you know, I've already seen her and things, but I'd miss her a lot otherwise. So yes, without further ado, let us have some victory and death.
Those things to stun. We're not trying to kill anyone.
I'll tell that to them.
They're your brothers still.
They're almost through.
They're a formidable team. I love the droids. But even I can't enjoy them too much this episode.
I let him out.
What? Why?
Diversion. Come on!
That's one word for it.
Just desperate. Jesus. Those don't look like clone troopers. What is he planning? Is he trying to cripple the ship so it can't chase him? Whoa. Hurry!
I don't like the sound of that.
Oh dear.
We need to get out of here.
Yep. To be honest, so does everyone. The ship falling apart is very emblematic of everything else in this galaxy falling apart right now.
There it is.
Jesus.
And those soldiers, my brothers, are willing to die and take you and me along with them.
No. I know.
You're a good soldier, Rex. They may be willing to die, but I am not the one who is going to kill them.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's a good one. And
Nothing's changed
can I
there.
have the three of you Blaine on the way?
Jib jib. If I lived in the Star Wars universe, I would be the mad droid lady.
Ahsoka Tano is no longer a Jedi. Hasn't been for some time.
That's what I said. Is that not a loophole?
Darth Sidious to eliminate Ahsoka Tano and any other clone who disobeys Order 66.
She would be listed.
I accuse you of treason against the Grand Army of the Republic. You'll be demoted in rank from commander and subject to execution, along with the traitor Ahsoka.
I mean, the demotion's really gonna matter when he's executed. Jib jib. Oh.
Rex, the ship!
Bless you, droid.
Get us up there! Our panel's locked out. Fire on those
Oh my god, that little laugh! No, the droids!
This shot!
Droids too! Bless you. No. No! Seriously? I guess we'll deal with him later. Poor droids. Genuinely upset about the droids. And the clones. Oh, only one of the droids is dead. Bless the others. I spoke too soon. Fuck. Bless. Come on. No victory other than their lives. And a lot of death. And a lot of those were his closest brothers as well. What's left of their world? So many dead. So many used, created solely for the purpose of using. They buried them. Any they could find. Does she come back for it? Because I swear she has two. Jesus Christ. Did he know Ahsoka was here? Jesus. I mean, that has to be up there for one of the most depressing ends to a series, especially to a series that throughout was a lot of fun, a series that endlessly had this looming, everything is going to end and be miserable at the end of it all. I loved that episode. I loved this arc. I think they handled it so well. I love that they didn't feel the need to repeat scenes we'd seen from the movie. We knew what was going on with the little references they made. We knew where we were within it. The moment, like, they were able to make you be just as present with the movie without feeling the need to reshoot all of the scenes. The one thing I kind of would have liked would have been a slightly more overt Ahsoka finding out about Anakin or going to try and find him or something, but at the same time I feel like the way they did it like this, the power was almost in how understated it was. So there's still that bit of my brain that's like, I would have liked to see the confrontation and to have the angst, but then the other part of me is like, A, that would have destroyed me, and B, you know she knows without having to see a scene of her screaming at him or sobbing or, you know, any of the emotions that you would have in that scenario. I'm sure they've happened, but, you know, it was, for me, it was that moment when they'd survived the crash. They were in the ship, they were alive, and he knew a lot of his brothers, including Jesse, you know, some of the brothers he's fought alongside for the longest time, they all just died. After having their free will utterly taken from them, they all just died. And Ahsoka is aware that, yeah, they all just died and she couldn't save them. She knows all three, we'll get to that, but she knows that life as she knows it has been upturned all over again. You know, it was just a few hours ago that she said, oh, not now. Like, I'm not coming back to the Jedi, not at the moment. You know, she kind of, I can't remember her exact phrasing, but it was phrased very much in a way that suggested she could one day come back to the Jedi. I think I've seen people suggest that potentially maybe she did or has, like, because the Mandalorian episode was called The Jedi sort of thing, and then it was like because she was hanging out with Luke that maybe she kind of is a Jedi adjacent nowadays, but I don't know. We will see her story as it unfolds. But for her, she kind of has lost everything all over again because Yes, she lost everything when her faith in the Jedi was shattered and she chose to leave. But there is a certain comfort in knowing that it is there for you to go back to knowing that, you know, it's like moving away from home can be painful, especially if you don't do it on good terms, but knowing it's there for you to go back to is very different to leaving home because your home's been destroyed. So that moment for both of them, I'm so thankful Rex survived, that she saved him, that we kept one of the clones we cared for. Given that the Bad Batch is still around, did they do their own thing? Do they not have chips? Do they have chips but the Jedi are gone so they don't come across them and they're just doing their own thing? I mean, maybe it's going to be a Bad Batch do jobs for the Empire. I've literally no clue what that show is about beyond its title. But yeah, I genuinely feel a bit speechless. It's so weird because, like, I finished this show and this show has had so many plot lines. I mean, it's had angsty plot lines, it's had depressing plot lines, but for the most part it's just been so much fun. A really enjoyable end to weeks for the last year, and now I genuinely just sat here like I want to cry, and I want to start thinking about the true scale of the Republic falling and what it means for all the individual citizens, what it means for rights and civil rights, what it means for those, how many lives are going to be lost in the next 20 years while Luke and Leia grow up. Just the utterly crushing nature of everything that's coming. I really respect them for not trying to rehash all of the events. You know, like we barely saw, or we didn't see Anakin in this episode. We didn't see Obi-Wan, we didn't see any of that, but it's just soul destroying to think of the scale of what this galaxy has lost, from the individual lives lost to the individual freedoms to the suffering that will be caused. And when you look at it from the point of view of characters such as Ahsoka, such as Rex, it is just crushing to think that for him to know that his brothers are all lost to him because they are slaves to the control of a crazy, evil man. For Ahsoka, she will, I truly do believe, I don't think she's going to blame herself for Anakin becoming Vader. I never ever mean that. It is not in no way her fault. But I think as a good person, when someone you cares about loses their way, someone you care about loses their way even, I know words, I do think she will be thinking like, could I have done something that would have helped him stay on the right path? That isn't blaming herself as an I did this, but it is being like, could I have helped him? Because I think that is human nature to wonder. But also to know that this person she looked up to so much and that she loved, and that like 24, 48 hours ago he was giddily showing her that the troopers had painted their helmets and giving her her lightsabers back, has fallen. I mean, maybe it was more than 48 hours, I don't know, but he's fallen this far even. The fact that they buried them, I mean, they're Rex's brothers, they're soldiers who did what they gave their lives to this cause without really having a choice, but they did it loyally, and then they were used in this way. I really respect that she buried them, they buried them, and then her leaving the lightsaber that Anakin gave her. Very symbolic. Anakin is dead. I feel like she was almost mourning Anakin in that moment. I don't think it's as easy and clear cut. I mean, I've referenced Anakin is dead a couple times. Obviously, Anakin is very much still alive. He is just going by the name Darth Vader now. You know, it doesn't mean Anakin has made these choices, is continuing to make these choices. It's while he's ultimately able to make Anakin-y choices again. You know, you can't, kind of having that, oh, he died, now it's Darth Vader, it sort of absolves him of any personal responsibility. But I love that we didn't focus on that. It's so interesting in so many ways that as a show that really catalogued Anakin's decline into being Darth Vader, we didn't see him go through that. I mean, I know we saw it in the movie, but we didn't, you know, I was almost expecting that there would be some scenes which would be like Anakin and Obi-Wan in between their movie moments. You know, a bit like when we had him on Obi-Wan on the green screen, I was going to say on their voice call. The Zoom call with Obi-Wan. Oh god. If I don't get ridiculous, I will cry again. But we just didn't see any of that. We followed his journey so far, but then at the moment he stopped being Anakin, the show was done with him and we never saw him again. I mean, we did see him again, but you know, we didn't follow his journey. We just saw him tracking down the ship that Ahsoka would have been on. Although at this point, given that it's not like when he joined old Palpatine, old Sidious, he didn't turn around and say, but can you leave Ahsoka off the list? You know, he was probably expecting her to be dead. I wonder if that was his way of being like, so she's alive. Because it's very, if she died in the crash or been murdered beforehand, I doubt it would have been placed so neatly. But just, honestly, the true scale of all of it. And to a degree, Anakin so easily losing him, well, not easily because it's a long lifetime of grooming and trauma, but Anakin losing himself to the dark side is on Anakin. It is his own shitty decisions, selfish, all sorts of things that I don't want to get into right now. But they're not admirable decisions. They are someone that with a lot of potential who threw it all away. But it's the betrayal of everyone he's ever cared about him. From Obi-Wan, who, yeah, they butted heads at times, but he's been a brother to him, to Ahsoka, to Rex and Cody and all the clones that he is so happy with letting them be brainwashed. Oh, just awful. This show I've absolutely loved. It really, I've talked a lot about how when I first watched the movies, I wasn't sold. I liked them, but the original trilogy were just, I do still to this day struggle watching things that are made in the past just because they're made with such dodgy effects, and often like script writing would have been fine-tuned, there might be some lazy tropes or whatever, or like sexism or things that nowadays if they made the exact same movie with the exact same people, imagining they were all the right age, would be better. I've struggled with that with everything. So that is still there, but I have a renewed appreciation for the movies and for the stories they tell because of The Mandalorian. It was really watching that. The sequels, I mean the prequels when I was like, oh, this is more up to date, and then the sequels they did help. But The Mandalorian made the galaxy feel real to me, not just this high-flying, like, big space battle, boom boom space battles. It made the worlds feel real. I think it helped that I didn't know the plot, because going into the movies, other than, I mean, the sequels, I didn't know what was going to happen, but the original, like, all the first 6 movies, I was like, well, that happens and that happens and that happens more or less. The Mandalorian really helped make it real for me, and the Clone Wars has just added to that 1,000-fold, because it's made the Jedi feel real to me. It's made characters like Anakin and Obi-Wan feel more fully rounded, especially Anakin, because his character, I truly do believe, needed the time spent on it that they simply did not have in 2 movies that also had to be fighting a war and dealing with the fall of the Republic and everything else that was going on. I've absolutely loved it. The voice acting was all been phenomenal. The animation has been beautiful. I am really excited to watch Rebels and Bad Batch, but just fucking hell. I just feel so depressed. Like, I'm gonna stop recording and just sit here and cry. No, I mean, it was so well done. Given that this was the ultimate point we needed to get to, we were inevitably going to get to, I loved how they did it. It was really, I think, the more I think about it, the more the understated nature of like the betrayals and the revelations that Ahsoka has had really worked beautifully, because we all know, we've all lived it, but you know, she kept fighting, she saved Rex, you know, he fought to try and save her. I know that was in the previous episode, he did his best. There is always hope, and I think that's something that the way the Clone Wars ended is very similar to the way the original trilogy ended, which is darkness wins, the dark side wins, the world, it is bleak, but there is a glimmer of hope, a flicker of hope that you have to hold on to and fan into a flame and make into something more. In the trilogies, it's that Luke and Leia are alive, Yoda's off, some lived in a swamp place, Obi-Wan's alive, you know, there are some characters who live. In the Clone Wars, it's that Ahsoka was able to save Rex and herself, and that they are still out there. Those are the flickers of hope that you can keep going. It does make me wonder how much we're going to come across sort of these characters again. Like, I mean, I think Ahsoka is in Rebels from what people have said. So are we going to see, and I assume, like, Rebels, they are rebelling against the Empire. Is she going to come up against Darth Vader? Is that kind of plotline going to continue? Or is it going to be just them, I don't know. I genuinely, I mean, it must be that, mustn't it? But whether they come up against Darth Vader or not, who knows? And in the Obi-Wan TV series, I wonder if we would potentially see Ahsoka, because that's set, what, 10 years after, did they say? Which would make sense. I mean, would he be like, oh, Luke's made it to 10, alright, I'll come back when he's a bit older. I don't know. Obviously we'll get to that show. And I still need to work out whether or not I'm going to watch it. when it airs. I'm going to watch it, but whether I watch it when it airs or whether I should, I guess I probably will, because I watched The Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and like, you know, Bo-Katan appeared, and I was like, oh god, who's this arrogant bitch? And then everyone was like, whoa, Mando's actually in the Mandalorian minority, and I was like, you say what now? And like Ahsoka, I was like, she seems awesome. Don't know who that is. And then watched the Clone Wars, and then when she was in it again, I was like, holy shit, that's Ahsoka. You know, I probably will do it that way around. Just maybe warn me, even if I start watching it, and then you tune in to watch Obi-Wan that week, and there's something that you're like, wait, no, watch Rebels first. Then let me know. I don't know. But this is just getting to the point of me just rambling about nothing. But I do want to say I have loved this. I know I still talked about it throughout the 4 reactions. I've loved this show. I've loved how they brought the world to life. I think they fleshed it out in a way that the movies just did not have time to do. They fleshed out the characters, the situations, this Clone War that they mentioned in passing, and in the movies you really only see the beginning and the end of. They made it all seem so real and made you care in such a strong way. And then they left you broken-hearted, but with that tiny, tiny glimmer of hope. I'm so excited to continue my Star Wars journey with Rebels starting next week. And yes, thank you so, so much for watching. And the unedited versions are all on my Patreon, but thank you for watching.